Greetings, brothers and sisters. Thank you all. William J. Smith has returned to Instagool and apologized. DJ Jazzy Jeff gives it 6 hearts. And so, let's see.
Okay.
It's been a minute. Over the last few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking and personal work. You asked a lot of fair questions that I wanted to take some time to answer. So we did a small video here, like just size-wise.
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out.
Okay, so I'm going to cover this like it's real, like the slap was organic and it happened naturally, and I don't believe that to be the case. Which I must have made 15 videos about this and many more videos about Will Smith and him being fake as F, right? Everything he does is fake and staged. I don't believe any of that stuff was real, Oscar night. But I'm going to, in terms of his apology here, I'm just going to pretend that it could be real and it happened organically, right? So let's start here. He's going, his first part of business is to talk about Chris Rock.
So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable.
So this is when I knew it was going to suck. There's different kinds of Instagool videos. There's the kind where you can blow them up and make them sort of full screen. Most people shoot their videos with their phones, in a vertical position, right? Where I make my videos in a widescreen format, and so I prefer if they, actually turn their camera sideways and used the maximum amount. Like, I don't know why people think it's better to shoot tall videos instead of long videos, because you can still watch the long videos on your phone, and I don't know. That's my pet peeve. But the long videos usually have the option also to adjust the volume, whereas the short videos, and this is a particularly small video, smaller than most, which was really dickish on his part. Like, I got to give a shout out to Alec Baldwin, because most of his videos are in the, the format where you can adjust the volume. And so when I'm, making fun of people, on Instagool, which, is part of my job, it's very hard for me to get the volumes or any of the things, even on YouTube, because the volume has to be pretty soft and it has to be loud enough so I can hear what the person's saying. And sometimes I miss things, which you can maybe pick up because I have to put the volume on pretty soft. But this video had, this format that he used, which a lot of people use, don't allow you to adjust the volume, right? And so it makes it really hard for me to work with. So I just said, all right, I'll watch the whole video and I'll just capture the whole thing, and then I'll do the voiceover part while I'm watching it on my Premiere Pro, right? And it'll match up better and all of it. But that just set the tone for, what's going to be a really superficial, stupid Will Smith apology. And Chris Rock said he wants to be paid. When he talks about this, he wants to, make some money off this interview, the inevitable interview. And, we when I first tapped in, I said, there's going to be some red table talk where Chris Rock, is going to be some, they can't meet ahead of time. It'll be like the first time they've seen each other since the infamous slap, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's how, it would happen in a movie. in one of these superficial, crappy B-level movies Will Smith is in, or TV shows. And so, that's why they haven't met yet.
And I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did. And, that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and, I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment.
So a couple of things here. I kind of realized as soon as I saw him sit down that it was going to be one of these. This is the beginning of the Will Smith apology tour, and where he's going to talk about what he's learned. He's big into living his therapy out on social media. He did it on his YouTube channel, his Facebook page. He had, all this stuff he was doing. He made like special YouTube shows talking about his growth and his internal world, and which I normally would applaud, but he's just so superficial, fake therapy. It's not believable. It's just fake. It's just all whatever, right? It's people who are pretending to grow internally. He's going to talk about this, in terms of his growth. And this is just the beginning. Like he's on some sort of, apology tour now where he's, going to talk about getting better and all these things. I mean, he spent 3 months thinking about this thing, right? Did he say that yet? He says it at some point. And the other point to this, it was just a slap, right? Again, like I think it's fake, but we're pretending it's real. He slapped a dude for making a joke about his wife. Like it's not that big of a deal, right? There's no physical damage done to Chris Rock. He says he's not a victim. I mean, whatever. But you think about the amount of violence that Hollywood has produced and conflict and drama, not just like physical violence, but all the conflict, all the, the drama, these like reality TV shows. I mean, Hollywood's just obsessed with conflict, like any kind of conflict and violence. And Will Smith has been in quite a few violent films. Hollywood awards violent films all the time, films with violence in it. How many times do you see a murder? Like there's just, how many murders do you think Hollywood is committed in the Hollywood universe, right? How many people have died in the Hollywood universe? Like, I mean, you count up all the time the Earth has been destroyed, right? Where all the people on planet Earth die. I mean, just the Marvel movies alone, half the population died for 5 years, right? That's 3.4 billion. And so, there's been probably billions upon billions of people, tens of billions, 20 billions, I mean, hundreds of billions, I don't know, people who have died in Hollywood movies, and then all the murders, all the violence, all of it, right? And Will Smith's been a big part of that. He's been an action hero for some of his career. And then, like, he's going to have to process a slap for 2 months or 3 months and go on some apology tour. It's just so fake, right? So superficial. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it happened at the Oscars, and it was covered like it was a big deal. But come on, it's not that, is anybody really traumatized by this slap? And he's going to apologize, starting with Chris Rock, to practically everyone. Plus, it's not the only time Will Smith has slapped a guy on camera. He slaps this guy. I'll show you that in a moment before we go back to it. He slaps this guy who gave him a kiss, kissed him on the mouth, and then, he slapped him. He didn't apologize to this guy or everyone, the guy's family. Here's that.
I might to hug you. Can I hug you?
Oh my God, a dream. How you hey, man. Come on, man. What the hell is your problem, buddy?
So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. And this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, right? 3 months? You've been thinking about this for 3 months? again, pretending this isn't fake. I mean, 3 months. You just slapped a dude, right? You were stressed out. Like, okay, let's pretend this is, real, like I said. The official story is you were about to get an Oscar, which you didn't deserve, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Because we know so much more than what happened that first on the night. But all right, you were stressed out about finally winning an Oscar, and the guy has been dogging your wife, mere friends or whatever, and you got couldn't handle the moment. You walked up and slapped a dude, and and have been canceled kind of ever since. But thinking about that every day, like it's not that big a thing. If it didn't happen at the Oscars, come on. It's just that everybody saw it. It's a part of your branding or whatever. But again, like this is just fake as everything else. But he's about to go on this apology tour and talk about all the things he learned about himself while he was reflecting on this horrible moment.
And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults.
Well, part of you did, because if you really slapped him, which, I made my, if you really slapped him, then part of you did. But even if you were acting, you're playing a part, you're doing a bit, part of you believed in it. Part of you wanted to do that, right? So whatever it is, part of you wanted to behave like that.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it.
Well, first of all, I can't believe you're laughing. I can't believe you think this is funny, this slap that you did. I mean, he's laughing at it, but this definitely had something to do with Jada. He said his history with Chris, but Chris has been dogging Jada a lot at various award shows, so maybe your history, you asked him to stop doing that, and he said, F you, but, you guys were allegedly friends, and this looks like a scam anyway. But definitely Jada had something to do with it.
I'm sorry, babe. I'm going to say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us.
Sorry, babe. Their marriages sucked, right? I mean, it's something where they pretended they had a dream life and a dream marriage. They're both unlikable, him far more than she is, but both of them. Very pretentious in her crappy red table talk. And then this happened, right? Like they know their marriage is a joke.
I'm gonna get you back first, and then
You gonna get me back? I think you've gotten me back. I think we're good on that. Okay.
okay, that's probably true.
But if you expect to be with somebody for a lifetime,
25 years and counting.
we ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
That's terrible.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
To all my fellow nominees, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me. And it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment.
Well, we know that's not why he won, because the movie King Richard lost $25 million. They paid him $40 million, and it grossed like 23, and it cost like $50 million to make. So he made more money than the movie made, and the movie lost like $25 million. So practically nobody saw the movie, and then it went on HBO and wherever people watched it. I watched little bits of it and looked like it sucked, right? And his acting wasn't very good. It didn't look like he was very convincing. So he won because they chose him just to win an Oscar, right? And with Will Smith, I've documented this over the years. He's had to endure more humiliation than any other celebrity. And so whenever he's gotten something, and he got a lot, right? He was like one of the top rappers and the number one TV star and number one movie star for a while, right? He was like one of the top 5 celebrities for a bit and the number one box office, movie draw. And he was in some of the biggest movies. And so, and he got a good guy brand. Like they gave him the rare good guy brand, which Tom Hanks has or had, and Ellen had. And that's why I started making videos on them, right? All 3 of them, because I realized they weren't good guys. They didn't deserve that brand. Will Smith is lost and psychologically deficient, and he's not being honest about his sexuality. I mean, all these things, which I've talked about in other videos. And then the rest of them, right? They're all, they all are what they are. But the way that they judge movies is they make money. Now, occasionally there's sort of an, artsy film, a film that the Hollywood, the pretentious Hollywood press likes, but the majority of Americans don't. But this wasn't one of those, right? This was a film that was, okay, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it wasn't really that great. And people weren't really interested in it, and it lost money. And so Will Smith has been in a lot of successful films, and yet they give him an Oscar for this one, and it comes at a price, right? He gets really publicly humiliated with this, fake slap thing, right? So, like he didn't really win an Oscar, at least not for that film.
I can still see Questlove's eyes. It happened on Questlove's award, and it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down?
I don't know what I would say, but how I would say it is I was talk really slowly because they have double-digit IQs. Anybody that looked up to Will Smith as a role model and a mentor and was traumatized by him slapping Chris Rock, I would talk very slowly because they're not the most perceptive people in the world.
So there's 2 things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down. So it hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit.
Whoa, wait a minute there. Don't be so fast. You haven't even given that a try yet. You haven't even tried that out yet. Don't dismiss that idea so quickly there, William J. Smith. Just let it sort of, incubate for a while. Just, give it a try. See how it works out for you.
So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
Well, we were never friends. You know, before I started making videos, you know, I was going to cover something on Brad Pitt and Jennifer. I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow. I got some more stuff for tomorrow. I'm just going to do this with Will Smith. I'm going to add a compilation at the end. It's getting late. I got to make dinner. But I got more stuff tomorrow. So there's a thing with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, just a small thing. But, you know, these people pretend for a living. They play make-believe. We all played make-believe as kids. I mean, most of us. Whether you played it with an action figure, you know, a Barbie, or you played games with your friend, dress up, whatever, you know. You pretended to be something that you weren't, right? You know, you have an imagination games. And you imagine yourself being things, right? I mean, even now as people get older, you know, in my stage of life, you know, imagine things, but not the same way. You know, when you're a kid, you fantasize, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, right? You know, I'm going to become this, I'm going to become that, and you dream about stuff. You know, and then that sort of disappears as you get older, but people still fantasize and use their imaginations. And so what actors do is they play dress up, they play imagination games for a living, right? And we all support it because I enjoy TV and movies, and, you know, I do this now as part of my job here, covering it, laughing at it. So, you know, I'm not, you know, going to be like, oh, that's, you know, the worst thing in the world, because it's not. It's just that they're often on the wrong side of things in Hollywood, and the Hollywood culture is such a depraved place. And, you know, Hollywood is now Atlanta or in places in Canada. Like, there's not so many movies made in Hollywood anymore because it's too expensive, and they tax the crap out of these movie companies. So now they make, like, the Marvel movies were made in Atlanta. You know, now movies are made on location, different places, or there's places in Canada they make them. They get tax breaks and things. So Hollywood isn't even Hollywood anymore. A lot of the people there don't even live in that area, so a lot of them live in Montana. A lot of those people are bailing on California altogether, right? And so, but anyways, you know, this idea of Hollywood morality and all these things. And so I didn't have a problem with Will Smith. I enjoyed, you know, some of his movies. I like the Men in Black movies, some of the other movies. And I didn't have a negative opinion. I had, you know, more of a positive opinion of him, and didn't really think about him, right? Because I don't care about the other stuff. Like, I enjoy TV and movies, and there have been period of times where I don't, you know, haven't had a TV, right? So, you know, it is whatever it is for me. It's not like the end of the world if I never watch TV or movies again, but it's something me and my wife enjoy at night when we're, you know, tired, and we take TV naps and whatever it might be. But it's, you know, it's okay. It's not like, it's entertaining. There's problems with it, psychological problems. There's, you know, mind control stuff. There's subliminal stuff. All of those types of things. But the one thing I started covering here, like, I don't really have a problem with it. Like, I don't care that much about it. But, you know, something that is obviously hypocrisy and an issue is Will Smith, Tom Hanks, and Ellen got the good guy moniker. And I realize none of them was good people. Like Will Smith saying that he wants to please people. He wants to be popular. He wants to be liked. You know, that's something real because you can see it in his everything that he does. Like, he really wants to be liked. He wants to be known as this, you know, whatever it is. Great guy, nice person, you know, fun to be around, whatever it is. But it's fake. Like, he has deep psychological trauma. And when I started covering him, there was all this information out there. It started with Alexis Arquette, someone from the gay community, that accused Will and Jada of being, you know, having a beard marriage. And, you know, I'm not going to read the quote here, but I've read it so much. And that there was this long-standing rumor in Hollywood that Will Smith was gay. And there was all this other stuff to do with it, right? All these reports. The guy who was the real-life Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was gay. And Will Smith seemed like he was bisexual. And Jada was also bisexual. And they had a fake marriage, fake Hollywood marriage. And that would have been okay, too, because I understand why Will couldn't express his sexuality in the 80s, right? He wouldn't have had the career he had. So I can understand, you know, I'm not saying it was good or bad, but, you know, why he would have to be deceptive to have the kind of career he wanted. And so, that's understandable as well. What's not understandable is why they would pitch their marriage and sell their marriage and their kids and all this stuff in their family life like they were, the way people do, like Alex, Hilaria Baldwin and all these people do on Instagram. Everybody trying to pretend their life is so much better than it is and being deceptive about it when their marriage is fake to begin with, right? When they're living a lie. And he continues to do that even though everything has changed now, and it wouldn't cost him his career if he came out as gay. I mean, at least, it wouldn't hurt as bad. I mean, now he's almost got no reason not to because of the slap and all these things. But he's somebody who's not consistent inside, like he's psychologically messed up in some way, and he projects something that's completely false. He's one of the fakest people in a culture, a Hollywood culture, and a Hollywood population where everybody's fake as F, right? And so everything he does is fake, and everything he does is for, it's like the way that Will has been ahead of the curve in terms of social media, where everybody lives their life on social media and edits their life to make their life appear different and better than it actually is. I mean, that's the worst part about social media is it's just so goofy. Everybody showing their best moments, everybody, taking hundreds of pictures to get the right one. I mean, just, all the branding and fakery and just all of it, right? And it's, for what, right? For what? Like, it doesn't make you feel good. I mean, I know people do feel good about it, but it doesn't make you feel good really, right? Like, I get lots of praise from people who watch my videos, lots of, compliments and things. And, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's not how I evaluate myself. And I don't even really if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you make a mistake and you fix it, right? I mean, that's, all you can do is you do your best. You make the right decision most of the time. And if you ever, make a wrong decision or a partially wrong decision, you fix it and you move on. You don't have to dwell about, what kind of person you are. Or, the world doesn't define who you are, how you are, or what you are inside. And it's just, I wish everyone could have this level of, comfort with that and not feel like that it's like some sort of a vote, some popularity contest to validate you as a person, because it's really who you are and what you've done and whether you're okay with yourself and in terms of your relationship with God and your soul is, you're on your soul's path and your soul is happy with what you've presented and what you've done with your life, right? And in that, Will Smith living this lie, I might as well put the compilation. I'll end the video here. I have a couple of compilations. I think I'll go with the long one. I've showed it before, but it's just all the times Will has presented himself as being something other than he actually is. And it's quite a lot, right? And so when you're living a lie like that and you've been so fake, nothing that you do can, is believable. Anyways, here's the compilation.
Thoroughly probed, got in there and got to the real stuff. Alex probed me. Sex, like once you've had sex, you walk different. It's in your back. Only a man knows what a man needs. You ever made love to a man? No. You want to? No, sir. Definitely don't look nerdy. You got some sexy vibes going. It's not nerdy. And from that point, I never put profanity in my rap music.
Oh, what a lovely story. That is sweet.
So this is what they found.
This guy's saying this is what they found in his colon.
With pleasure. Thank you, sir.
He's like the Martin Scorsese of my ass.
Then this happens.
You can get dressed. I'm going to step on the other side of the curtain. Just let me know when you're done, okay?
Ben, can you get me dressed?
Basically like a regular Wednesday.
Can you help me with these, Ben? I'm going to ask Jazz, but he has to use the camera.
Yeah, my hands are so full.
Where's Ben? He's supposed to be my protector. It worries me because he just got out of the toilet. I didn't hear the faucet on.
Subconsciously, of course, I mean, I'm like, I want to look good for the doctor to put a camera up my ass. Don't say anus. So you let some man put something up my anus while I was asleep. So basically.
All right. So one of my viewers, let's go back a little bit here. So one of my viewers on Facebook sent me this.
Behind you.
Oh, man.
Okay.
It's like good production.
And then we've got, there's some words up there.
Yes.
Okay, you all set?
Hey,
Oh.
So Will just grabbed this Graham Norton, is that his name? Graham something. And he has I think he's Irish or Scottish or something. He's got a celebrity talk show in the UK. In fact, I think in this very same episode, there is something else. I'm going to play the compilation later. And that comes from this show. You'll see that in the compilation. But, Will Smith, let's go back here. So,
He is in behind you.
Oh, man.
Okay.
So this guy reaches down to bend over, and Will is eyeing his buttocks, and he decides, well,
It's like good production.
And then we've got, there's some words up there.
Yes.
Okay, you all set?
I'm going to do that. He decides to do that back there, big giant cursor nose, colossal cursor. And then they have a good laugh. And so when I first posted this, I didn't watch the end of it. But then Helen Mirren gets in on the act. And she stands in front of him, and Will Smith puts his hands up in the air, right? Puts up his hands. Because he wants no part of that. Graham, whatever his name is, Norton, is that it? But Helen Mirren, he's not into it all, right? And he's just so fake, right? And so he has this new series coming out on YouTube. And, it's being promoted by YouTube. But, this is where YouTube started to make deals with celebrities. And the whole idea behind YouTube was average people, right? People who weren't celebrities. But they were embracing Will Smith and his YouTube channel. They're really pushing it out there. And now he has this special coming up.
So you ready?
This began as a journey to get into the best shape of my life.
It's camels.
Even better than iRobot.
Even better than iRobot.
Even better than iRobot. Now, I think that must be his wife, right? And she's wearing something here. I don't know. Why is it? Where are they?
Better than iRobot. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 20 weeks.
So a pound a week, that doesn't sound like that hard, especially if you have a bunch of special trainers and dietitians. So it doesn't sound like it's that hard of a quest.
Come on, Will, get your head down.
When I started this show,
About to get it.
I thought I was getting into the best shape of my life physically.
See, even now he's trying to get real and he's still fake. He doesn't know how not to be fake.
But mentally, I was somewhere else.
I'm done.
And I ended up discovering a whole lot of hidden things about myself.
Okay, so are you finally coming out as gay? Because the biggest thing about Will Smith, and it's been, rumored by Hollywood. This is something that I didn't figure out. Hollywood had been talking about this for years. Alexis Arquette was from the famous Arquette family. There's 5 of them, and they're all celebrities. And it says, Alexis Arquette drops Will Smith gay bombshell. This is from Pink News. Trans actress brands Will and Jada Pinkett Smith gay hypocrites following Oscar boycott. And so Jada Pinkett Smith boycotted the Oscars because Will wasn't nominated or something. Remember that? And Alexis Arquette said this. When Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked in on him, servicing his sugar daddy, Benny Medina, then I will listen to them. And then it said, she's being his first wife, paid off and silent. Will threw a fit on the set of 6 Degrees of Separation when he was required by the scene to kiss Anthony Rapp. Anthony Rapp later would accuse Kevin Spacey of abusing him in some way. So that's all tied together. He persuaded the director to shoot the back of his head in the frame, blocking the non-existent lip lock entirely. Him, gays have enemies. They lurk inside gilded closets. Outing is healthy, and you are either with or against us, you decide today. So then Alexis Arquette was clearly upset by the Smiths playing this role of the perfect couple, and Will pretending to be cisgender or whatever they call it, right? And wasn't having any of it. And then Alexis Arquette ends up dying, right? Shortly thereafter, which seems suspicious given what happened here, for almost like a punishment for outing Will Smith. So Will Smith, this is Betty Medina, right? And Betty Medina was the real Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And salvaged Will Smith's career. Here's Betty Medina with his hand inside Will Smith's shirt. And so Betty Medina had this idea for a TV show, and it was about his life because he had some sort of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type of situation. And he got Will Smith to star in it, right? Will Smith was an actor. He didn't want to do it or whatever. And so Alexis Arquette said that Will Smith was servicing Betty Medina because of, whatever was going on there. So that was the first accusation. Then there was this: tabloid hits, Will Smith's affair with male actor destroyed marriage to Jada. $2 million cover-up scandal, Will Smith's secret payment to rumored gay lover exposed. And then he was in this movie with Kevin Kline called Wild West. It was a remake of the Wild West TV show. Will caught kissing Dwayne Martin. We were all sitting in Will's trailer on the Wild Wild West set. It was crazy. Will said, I'm secure with my manhood. Then he walked over to Dwayne Martin and kissed him on the mouth. That was Kevin Kline, who was at the time an A-list actor himself, and he was recalling this. And so these guys were rumored to be a couple. And so Will Smith was carrying this sham marriage out, based in Hollywood insiders, and in reality, he was really gay or bisexual. He was, somebody on the LGBTQ spectrum, and there was just some fakeness about Will Smith. And then in the Wild Wild West, there was things that happened in these movies. Will Smith gave a long lap dance to several of the characters dressed as a woman. It's like 3 minutes long, right? Here he is with Kevin Kline. Here he is stroking the face of the president, sitting on the president's lap. Here he is wrapping a scarf around the villain. It goes on for a while. Very sexual, very odd. It goes on forever.
Be careful about the dress. I'll be out of here in just a second, Mr. President.
And then here he is kissing Jaden on the mouth, something Jaden complained about on Ellen, and Ellen encouraged him to go after Jaden and kiss him on the mouth. So these were things. I have a compilation I'll show you. But it's, there's all these times that Will Smith himself hints at this reality, that he was actually gay. And then Jada came out and said she had an affair 2 years with a younger man, a singer. Forget his name, it's not important. But he came out and talked about, then they came out together and talked about how they had a sham marriage. But it took years because he always pretended like they had some wonderful marriage. But it was clearly his whole life was an act. So let me show the compilation, then we'll go back to his YouTube video.
Thoroughly probed. Got in there and got to the real stuff. Alex probed me.
Sex, once you've had sex, you walk different. It's in your back.
Only a man knows what a man needs.
You ever made love to a man? No. You want to?
No, sir.
Definitely don't look nerdy. You got some sexy vibes going. It's not nerdy.
And from that point, I never put profanity in my rap music.
Oh, what a lovely story. That is sweet.
Does this feel like a hug? Yes.
Come see, come saw.
Do you feel loved or do you feel assaulted?
All right.
Feels like someone already did.
And that fake laugh.
Alrighty.
Now that will be edited out of the show.
No, it won't.
Let's take a
Oh,
peek.
yeah. Yeah. You know, I love him, Ellen. I love him.
Trying to make out with his teenage son.
I do.
Ellen egging him on.
No, you know, it's I think when you have kids and you love them and you're proud of them, you just want to kiss them in the mouth sometimes.
This one's gonna be easy. Ooh, look at her handmade. No, and she's going to get some punch. Feeling a little thirsty myself.
No, you can't leave me. They'll see right through me.
No, they won't. All you have to do is walk over there.
Speak. I also have to speak.
Okay, listen to me. I live in a lamp. This is a party. Do not mess this up for me.
Mr. Man, what's his name? Whatever, what would your pleasure be?
That's fantastic. So do you think your parents are cool, or do they sometimes embarrass you, Jaden?
My parents embarrass me all the time.
Classic Will Smith laugh, right?
They do? I did not expect that answer.
When I'm at school, sometimes my dad will just pull his pants down.
Hey!
I might to hug you. Can I hug you?
Oh my God, Adrian, how you? Hey, man. Come on, man. What the hell is your problem, buddy? I'm gonna get you back first, and then.
You gonna get me back? I think you've got me back. I think we're good on that. Okay.
Okay, that's probably true.
But if you expect to be with somebody for a lifetime,
25 years and counting.
we ride together,
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
That's terrible.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
And so this also happened. I'm including this. So Will Smith decides to make a video about love.
So I was thinking about love. I was thinking about how difficult it is for us to find and to maintain the love that we all yearn for.
And so this made me think that Will Smith never ever experienced love in his life, right? It's one of the great things about the Heartfulness meditation is that you get love from the source, which is, God is love and the divine energy that's transmitted in the system, right? It's something people crave on a fundamental level. And he said something here. He's really uncomfortable talking about it, right? And, this speaks to his marriage and his life and all these other things. Love misunderstood. Now, when this thing came out about Augustina, Will Smith was miserable because Jada was miserable and he couldn't make her happy, couldn't control her happiness. She hated him and didn't want to be around him, right? Like she would just stare at him. They talked about this in the Red Table Talk. Their relationship and how they just, she just would look at him and just like hate him, right? And this, he foreshadowed this here.
So me and Jada was reflecting about love.
Even the way he just said it, right? He was trying to sound like Barry White, but he sound like, somebody who's never experienced love.
You cannot make a person happy. You can make a person smile, you can make a person feel good, you can make a person laugh, but whether or not a person is happy is deeply and totally and utterly out of your control. The thing that we
Yeah, but you weren't making her happy, you were making her miserable, like she hated you, right?
call love, the thing that we're searching for and we're trying to create that we call love is actually not love. J. Krishnamurti talked about the concept of the desire
pleasure paradigm, that we think about love in terms of desire and pleasure.
And so, again, like he's never experienced it.
Meaning that if you meet my needs, then I love you. If you don't, then I don't. So that love becomes transactional.
And so that's the kind of thing he's talking about. Certainly not worthy of a slap, right? Like if you think about somebody who really loves his wife and, you know, I mean, it's a sham. Their marriage is a sham. Like what would make him get up and get that upset over a lame joke that would, you know, act in a way that would get him banned from the academy, right? When he's with somebody who, I mean, she's, you know, talked about hating him, right?
What was your hardest time in our marriage?
I think
There's just too many to mention.
the turning point in our relationship for me happened when I turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I had a midlife crisis.
Yeah, your 40th birthday was my low point.
Jada,
You know, there's that, and you can see the sort of simmering, like, you know, mutual hatred, right?
Where he's healing, you know, and he's also kind of breaking down some of the construct that he's built around himself of who he is and who he's not and all of those kinds of things. So I actually...
Yeah, it'd be nice if he admitted who he is and who he's not, right? And that the marriage is a joke, right? Like, you know, she's...
I think that this has been kind of, him coming to the table has been kind of a release for him to not have to live up to this.
Yeah, and that's
this illusionary marriage and this fake narrative that we've created.
Thing. Yeah, exactly.
That takes work.
It
It
takes
takes
a lot of
work, and it's not easy, and it can be painful. So,
and I'm proud
You know.
of him.
The couple.
Yeah, sure she is.
And I'm proud of him.
The couple's marriage as they knew it fell apart after Will threw Jada an over-the-top 40th birthday party that she says was more about him than her.
Yeah, we all know that, right? I've covered this here in recent videos. Everything that Will Smith does in these vacations or anything they do with birthday parties or even his daughter's concert is all about him. Like the narcissism for this guy, right? And they're all narcissists. I mean, they named their kids after each other or, you know, after themselves, right? Jaden and Willow. And so the narcissism here, right? And it's not a real relationship. It's not a slap-worthy relationship, right?
She's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego. Crushed, right? And to this day, I know I was crushed because it was true.
Yeah.
It was true.
It wasn't a party for her.
Yeah. And that was a display.
I mean, so this is their marriage, right? These looks that she gives, right? That she's 50 now, so this was 10 years ago.
And that was a display, that moment of like me having the courage to just say no.
No, yeah.
But now I had to have the courage to unravel it and just realizing this next 40, I got to do it my way.
Jada says up until that...
She's got to do it her way. And so then there was the affair with August Asina and all these things that came after it, right? And so Will Smith talking about love, right? Like he's given her a birthday party that's about him, his, you know, the ego and the celebrity, you know, status and all these things. And everything he did was, you know, so much about him. He kind of admits it, but then doesn't change, right? It's not the kind of marriage where somebody makes a joke about your wife having a shaved head and you go up and you snap and you slap the guy and ruin what's left of your crappy career, right? It's not, you know, it's not that kind of a relationship.
That point, she was trying to live up to an idea of Jada Will had created, instead of just being Jada.
To have to let go of the picture, to have to let go of the dream was devastating. We essentially had to destroy our marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Though you didn't have one because it's an illusion. She was pretending to be someone she wasn't. She hated you. You know, you guys are like not, you know, I mean, the beard aspect of the marriage, all of it. It's a sham. It's just like a performance, all these things he said, right? Superficial, artificial, and not slapworthy.
Then I don't. So that love becomes transactional. If you do what I want, if you meet my desire and give me pleasure, I love you. If you don't meet my desire and you don't give me pleasure, I don't love you. I think that the insatiable nature of desire, trying to get somebody to fill our cup, I think that leads to anger, and it leads to...
There's a lot of Illuminati eye stuff here. You know, because he's never felt it, because he lives a superficial life. He's not, you know, I mean, he's just a shell of a person, right? There's no depth there. I mean, I've realized that lots of people haven't felt love. Like that's, you know, I mean, probably people listening to this video, you know, people talk about love or whatever, but never really truly felt love. And so, like with the heartfulness meditation, there's people who, you know, if they receive the transmission, and people's hearts are so blocked, right? People have these hard shells around their hearts, and their heart is like so they're disconnected from their heart in such a way that it's like, you know, it might as well be a million miles away, right? There's no like interaction or feeling emanating from their heart. And so when they receive the transmission, they can't feel it. Or, you know, if they feel it, it's like, what the hell is that, right? Because people have learned to extract love out of other things. Like there's love in anything. Like love is the basis of all creation. And people need love and need to feed on love, right? Need to be nurtured by love. And so if they can't get it directly and they can't have a relationship with God and their hearts are more or less shielded from them, right? Their hearts are, you know, wrapped in a cocoon of negativity and past impressions, some scars, then they can't feel it. And it's, you know, something that I took for granted, and I thought everyone's experienced love in their life. I don't know what the percentages are. And then, you know, people have experienced love, and then they just, like, whatever, they're in shitty relationships. Their heart closes, they're hurt, whatever. And then they don't experience it for years, you know. So as a child, perhaps, you know, they experience it, but then it goes away. And so this is the state of the human being. They're desperate for love. Everyone's looking for love, but they're looking for it in all the wrong places, right? And they, you know, don't know how to. I mean, there's just the infinite ocean of love that is when you connect to God. That's what's available in the heartfulness meditation. But very few people realize they need it or want it or what it is. And, you know, that's just like the sad state of humanity. So he talks a lot, and I'm not going to show you all that video, but, you know, you can watch it yourself if you really want to cringe. But clearly he's talking from a place of not knowing what love is, right? It's a lot of Illuminati stuff. They show his singular eye throughout the video. But this is the real brutal part at the end. So he's, you know, done a lot of research. He's got some quotes and ideas and transactional aspect of love and what love isn't. And then he says, all right, I'm going to define love at the end.
At its core, I think love is help.
So you know absolutely nothing about love, but decided to make a video for your 10 million subscribers. Dopey subscribers who also probably haven't experienced love either because they're, you know, watching they're a fan of yours, right?
Everybody is having a hard time. So love is really devotion to their struggle. It's when you're committed to helping somebody with...
It has really nothing to do with that, right? Love is sacrificial because it draws you and compels you, but it's a feeling. It's not an action, right? And he's saying, okay, because he's so narcissistic and everything's been about him, you know, even his wife's big 40th birthday party was about him, right? And so, like, he's saying, okay, let's do the opposite where I'm helping people and, you know, whatever. People are helping each other and service. And that's, you know, there's love in service, right? Loving service, but service can be done with animosity, right? It's a feeling. It has to be done out of love. You can do anything out of love, right? Like the feeling has to be there. Love more than anything else is a feeling that you feel in your heart. If you haven't had that feeling, you don't know what the fuck love is, and he doesn't, right? Like he has no idea. And this goes to show you, like the same thing with Madame Expiration Date, Madonna. Like she's another example of that. Like they don't, you know, they're so narcissistic and they're so used to feeding off of the crowd and their success that they have no idea what love is, right? They need, you know, lots of adoration, lots of energy from other people because they become vampires, these ghoulish vampires. Speaking of which, I'm going to cover Celine Dion on my other channel today.
Their life, helping them to suffer less, you know, helping them to manage their minds and their emotions. I think love is
also pain. So like that's the other thing, like he has no idea about. You know, I was in the Heartfulness meditation. There's a teaching that, you know, the essence of a person's, the essence of a person's soul on a soul level, there is a pain of being separated from God. You know, that every being desires to return to the Creator, return to its source. And love is the, you know, it's the separation of being away from somebody you love, right? The separation, you know, that you have with a person, especially after they die, you know, I mean, that's one, you know, the worst of it. But just being separated, the lover being separated from the beloved is when you feel the love the most, because it's the absence of having that person with you or whatever it might be, God or like an art, like somebody's art. People could have a love of art, right? But the love of something, when you're separated from it, when the beloved is separated from the lover, right? It is, you know, you can feel it's a presence in your heart, right? And it's the pain of separation. And love in this sense is pain. And everybody feels down deep the pain of love. And like I've said before, I went through this like 3-month period. Maybe it was shorter than that, I don't even know. But where this pain of being separated from God, which was a condition in the heartfulness system. And it was, you know, it was great and brutal at the same time. It was real and, you know, painful all at the same time. And everything else seemed meaningless to me. Like nothing in my life seemed important, right? Like I just lost all sense of, you know, ambition to do things and perform just, you know, whatever daily tasks and things. Like I was doing them completely, you know, just as like detached from them. And, you know, I mean, I couldn't function. Like I just, you know, I was functioning, but it wasn't like a real, you know, this is years ago. I don't know, about 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know when it was, 2006 or 7, probably right around the time I, you know, started this YouTube channel shortly after that, right? So it was 2006, right before the YouTube channel started. And, you know, it's still there. Like I can feel it every once in a while. Like it comes up for short periods of time. But it's something that's buried in everybody, inside themselves. And this guy is so far away from that, right? He has no idea. He says, here, I think love.
And their emotions. I think love is a deep desire for our loved ones' growth and their blossoming and their all-around well-being.
Yeah, that's not it, right?
When you love somebody, you want them to feel good. You want them to be happy, and you want to see them succeed in life. And love really demands an in-depth understanding of their hopes and their dreams and their fears, their needs and trauma. I think.
So he keeps on saying, I think, because he doesn't feel, right? Yeah, of course those things are there for your loved ones. You want them to be happy. But it's, you know, it's a feeling. It's not. When love is there, failure and misery and things are not, you know, nearly as bad, right? Like those things are a part of it. Like just the pains of life. Life sucks in times. And those are the times you can more feel love, right? The traumas people go through. The loss of loved ones, you know, people dying or whatever it might be, right? Bad news. Like those are when you feel love more than any other time, right? If you're happy, yeah, you're happy, but that's not the feeling of love. Happiness and love aren't the same thing. And so, yeah, it's nice to see people happy, but love is something else, right? And love has pain in it. Love is pain, right?
I think love is giving and sharing our gifts for the purpose of nurturing them and empowering them and helping them to create their greatest joys.
Awesome.
So they end the video here, and he's sort of just sitting here in the shadows, right? You can't see his face, and, you know. And I was like, oh, that dude doesn't know anything about love. He's had a miserable life with all the fame, all the whatever it is, adoration, all the success, just completely clueless, because so many people, and he said the thing about joy, that love and joy are the same thing. Well, you feel joy, you know, in relationship with being with the beloved, right? And that's, you know, whatever it is. But like, there could be miserable things going on externally, and if you're with somebody or people you love, or you're feeling love, it's, you know, love is like the great sort of protector and, you know, equalizer, and making things, minimizing things that aren't really that important, superficial things and the rest of it. But I was like, this guy just doesn't know anything about love. And so he has a sham marriage, and, you know, and it's been done to, you know, his marriage and his life and all these things he talks about in that other video I've shown that recently, where he talks about, you know, he's just a creation, this fake creation.
That was the only time in my life that I ever considered suicide.
Now I'm about to show the world how little I know about myself.
How little I know about myself. This is just a few years ago, right? Like last year.
I don't want to do any of this. I'm finished with the best shape of my life. What you've come to understand as Will Smith, the alien annihilating MC, the bigger-than-life movie star, is largely a construction, a carefully crafted and honed character designed to protect myself, to hide myself from the world, to hide the coward.
And this construction is created for your benefit, all of our benefit, right? Because that's what matters to him. And all these like people on social media and these celebrities, that random people that they're never going to meet, and lots of them, as many as possible, would somehow like them, right? I talked about Will Smith getting the good guy narrative, Tom Hanks getting the good guy narrative, Ellen DeGeneres getting the good guy narrative. They've all collapsed, right? They were all given this, you know, like when you have a reality TV show and they have this good guy narrative, there's the hero in the show, right? And they have the villain, but the villain is the one that drives the drama. The villain is the one that sort of makes the story what it is, right? Most entertainment is focused on the villain. And the villain can be any number of things. The villain could be a disease. It can be, you know, apocalyptic. It can be something, you know, nuclear war. It could be whatever it is, right? And that's the conflict, and that's what's focused on in most of our entertainment. And Will Smith became a villain, you know, after years of being a good guy, over something that we know he had he had a sham marriage, right? He didn't have a real marriage, and he isn't a real boy. He isn't a real person, right? He's Pinocchio. He's not somebody who has lived a real life. He's done everything to, you know, impress all the rest of us, and we don't give a shit. Like, people don't care, right? Like, yeah, he's got some adoring fans, but they don't, because they have no lives, right? These celebrity worshipers are like the lowest form of life because they're worshiping bad people who don't know how to live life, aren't living functional lives, and, are themselves just a shell of false creation. So you have fans worshiping a false creation, and, it's not heartfelt, it's not real, it's not love, it's not, a soul-based thing. It's just this weird, superficial, dysfunctional dynamic. And that's what played out at the Oscars, right? Because everything's performance for the brand, performance for the people that don't know you, the people that think you're better than you are, right? It's not for your immediate circle of people who see you in everyday life, right? Like him saying that love is service and wanting other people to succeed and, wanting them to find joy and happiness. Well, that's probably the next step for him, because before that he was throwing birthday parties, like a 40th birthday party, instead of making it about his wife and what she wanted, he made it about himself. And you saw this in all his other YouTube videos. Every time there was a, birthday party for one of his children, or there was, his children were, like it was Jaden Smith having a rap song, the successful rap song called Icon, and Will Smith, glomming onto it and doing his own verses and performing at like Coachella with like somehow, finding a way to force himself and be a part of it. Like it's like your kid's having his big moment, but you have to stomp all over it. And yeah, of course, for somebody like that, who his wife, has a breakdown because it's another one of his narcissistic gestures that's all about him. He always has to be the center of attention on her 40th birthday. And it was too much for her. And she snaps. Their marriage falls apart, and she goes, bangs another guy for a couple of years, right? On top of, them both doing that. And then he says, I think I understand love now. It's about thinking about other people and what they might need and what they, well, that's the first step for a narcissist who names his daughter after himself and a wife that names a son after herself, right? Yeah, for those kind of people, just understand that other people have needs and wanting them to success and not being jealous of their success and sharing the spotlight and the, not being all about you and constantly talking about you and, enough about you, let's talk about me, so that's where he is. It's just narcissistic fake performance for an illusionary audience. And so that slap ain't real, right? Like it's not like he's demonstrating some, they care so much about his wife and her needs, and like he's done much more damage to her than that, goofy joke about her being bald, right? I mean, Chris Rock didn't plan a birthday party for her and make it about himself. I mean, some of these, selfish gestures of his and things like this, and performing for an audience that, all these people that sell their loved ones out to an illusionary fan base, and just the posturing and all the, fake things that go along with it.
You're in a universe and 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 only equals 4 if you accept that 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 is going to be what I want it to be.
Okay, so that's Will Smith, the compilation. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely pointing for the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.